Hello everyone. I want to welcome you and congratulate you for moving forward to a new section in our course. Now that we have seen few Java library classes and the useful methods that they offer us, we will start entertaining the idea of creating our own libraries and our own methods. How fun does that sound? Now we're gonna add some action to our codes. And before we do so, I would like to start this video with one very special method that we have always used but never looked at. We always delayed understanding this method for a later stage. Now has come the time, so let's open up our Eclipses. Let's create a new package, call it section, create a new package, call it section 2_3, finish. Right click on the package name, new package name, and we're going to create a new class within section 2_3, and we're going to call it main method. And it is fine as long as the name is a capital letter. We're not using main, and main method is not a keyword in Java. So finish. Awesome. If there would have been an issue using this name, Java would have let us know. Now, how do we declare main method? Public static void main. We open up parentheses, we type in string. This is symbol for arrays. We call it args, and we open up curly braces. This is usually the first thing we do with every class that we have seen so far, correct? At this stage, we're gonna leave public static void. We're gonna leave this argument alone. What we're going to focus on is the reason why we have always started with the main method. Simply because main method, this is the first method that Java Virtual Machine runs. So if you want to run any kind of program, if you want to execute any program, you need to have at least one main method. One class cannot have multiple main methods. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is in the whole program, you need to have one main method that will initiate the program. Now, this is why main method is special. Every time virtual machine runs an application or it runs a class, it automatically calls main method. Do you remember how we said math.max 5 or 4 and 3, for example? What happened here is that we called max method from math class, correct? We did this intentionally and we did this manually, and we had to type it in for the compiler to come to the line 8 and call this method. However, with main method, that's not the case. Main method is being called automatically. Every time you click the run button here, main method runs. Okay, awesome. All right, now that we have seen the concept of main method, let's kind of copy whatever we saw on the declaration of a main method, public static void, and call this method my first method. Instead of main, we're going to call it my first method. Open and close parentheses. We will play with that idea of adding arguments to between our parentheses down the road. But this is going to be a simple method called my first method, and we're going to do a simple thing. We're going to say print congrats or hello first method. Okay. Now, when we run this program, let's let this be here, right? It's not going to hurt. Well, so let's look at the structure of this program, of this class. We have a class name, we have a main method, and we have, out of nowhere, another method. Still has the code block with opening curly parentheses and closing curly parentheses. And within this code block, it has system out print line, hello first method. So this is the statement we have in our first method. When I run this program, do you think anything is going to happen? things happened, but not on the console, because I did not ask anything to be done to the console, because my main method just has math.max method calling, trying to find the largest number between 4 and 3, and it doesn't assign it to anywhere, it doesn't do nothing, and that's it, there is nothing within. So what happened to this method? This just got completely ignored. For me to be able to use this method the same way I did with my previous classes and their methods, remember scanner, remember system out, and obviously math.max, I need to call this method and use it. How am I going to call this method? I'm just going to type its name, my first method, and close the statement. Okay, when I run this program, something came up, hello first method. So how did this happen? Let me now take out math.max to avoid confusion. So what happened is, put yourself in the shoes of a compiler. When I run this program, what happens? JVM comes in and starts my main method. We go to line 7, nothing. We will go to line 8. There is a call for a method called my first method. This method is right here on line 44. So I'm gonna line 14. I'm sorry. So what the compiler does is compiler stops here, comes to line 14, enters this method, comes to line 15, prints out hello first method, comes to line 16. This is the end of method called my first method, goes back. So this statement is executed. Let me go to line number 9. There is nothing. Line number 10, my program is terminated. Let's add some flavor. System out print line. This is the line 8 from main method, right? And we're gonna add another print line. This is line 12 from main method. And being detail-oriented as we are, we will eliminate extra article. We're at missing period. Run this. Now what will happen is, this is line 8 from main method is also printed, and line 12 is also printed. So you remember the control flow. You start your main method, go into the first statement, and first statement is at line 8. It says just print this line. We printed it. Next, we go to line 9 is empty. Line 10, we have a call to my first method. We go into line 19 here within my first method, print that out. Then we go out because the method is finished. We go out, we say we're gonna move to line 11, nothing. Line 12, we're gonna print this out. As simple as this. Now, you might ask, how come we set math.max 4 and 3, but we just called the method's name? If the method is in the same class as the main method, you do not need to use the class name like you did with math, right? You do not need to define where the max is coming from. I mean, you do not need to define where the my first method is coming from. Here, there is no max method in this class, so you need to define where this max method is coming from. So basically, this is going to work, main method dot my first method. This is going to work. However, this is redundant. Redundant means no need for extra wording. So there is extra wording here. But when I run this, and this will become line 14, right? So when I run this, you will see how this prints hello first method twice, because I'm calling my first method here, and I'm calling my first method here. So I'm calling my first method twice. When I run it, it will print out hello first method twice. So it is a good practice. If you want to keep doing it, it's going to add additional verbosity to your code. However, when you call the method as you do in line 12, for those who are already who have already been doing this for a while, who are already programmers and developers, they will know that any method that starts like this is obviously coming from the same class. So usually we don't use this, not common. So here I'm going to add another note. Since my first method is in the same class, no need for the class name. That's why we call it redundant, no need. Perfect. So this is how we create methods of our own and call them. Now I will go ahead and demonstrate that main method is nothing but another method. But this demo is kind of for your information at this stage. I do not want you to get confused. So if you don't want to get confused, stop the video here and move on to next material. If you're curious, watch the video. If it adds confusion, just skip it. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it later. But if it gives some kind of explanation, a light bulb, then I am happy to demonstrate this for you. Now let's do this. In our previous class, we looked at method compositions, right? In our previous video recording, and we had this program called, we had this class called method composition that printed out two things for us. I believe it was 16 right here in this nested, in this cluster of nested methods, and it printed 5 because the max of x and y is 5. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call that main method. How I'm going to do that? I'm going to say method composition dot main, and I'm going to pass null here. Don't worry about it. Again, this is not to confuse you. This is to show you that main method is just another method, and it's going to complain. For those who have been attentive, why do you think this is complaining, and why do you think method composition part is complaining? Pause the video, give your answers, then continue watching. The reason why it is complaining is because, remember when we talked about packages and import statement, we said that if a class is in a different package, you need to import it. The same way we did with scanner. Math class is special. It comes from Java Lang package. You don't need to import anything from Java Lang package. But method composition class is not special. It is our custom method. Java doesn't know it. So for your code to know it, you need to import from section 2_2, section 2_2 dot method composition. Now it will not complain. And guess what will happen? Obviously, everything before this call is going to stay the same. So these lines that we have printed out of the console are going to stay the same. However, when we get to line 19, our program, our main method will call another main method of another program. And it will print out, it will start executing whatever is in this program here, whatever is in this main method here. You want to see? Run this program. We're going to get, this is line 8 from main method. Let me open it up. This is line 8 from main method. Hello first method coming from line 13. Hello first method coming from line 14. This is line 4. Right now it is line 16, right? So this is line 16 from main method. Let me read on it. Right? Now, where do 16 and 5 come from? 16 and 5 come from simply this main method of another class. So this is what we meant, that you need to have at least one main method in any program. You can have multiple main methods in different classes, but usually this main method will start the program up and it will call other methods to build your program. Now, next time you look into a file explorer, and next time you look into, for an example, let's do this. Let's try to find our Eclipse folder. Give me one moment, please. Let me find my Eclipse folder. So here we go. This is where my Eclipse folder is. So when I go to my Eclipse, and we know that Eclipse is developed with Java, on Java, right? So what happens is when I go to my Eclipse folder, you see there are 4 folders. One is 15 megabytes, the other one is empty for some reason. This is 50 kilobytes and this is 94 kilobytes. Now, this 407 kilobyte of an application executable file, look at it this way. This is the class that will start when we run Eclipse. And this class has a main method. I don't know the source code for Eclipse, right? But I can assume, I can imagine that this class has a main method, which when we double click, goes ahead and calls other methods that ask us to define what our workspace is. Then then it goes and calls another method that creates this whole platform for us, the whole UI for us, correct? And then every time I do something, it calls all kinds of methods to help me run my program. Okay, look at the main method from that perspective from now on. Next time you play a game or you open another application, when you just click on single icon and it creates all these things for you, it's not that single icon doing it for you. It's not that single class or single application doing it for you. That class that you double click simply calls all the other support classes and helps you run your environment. So this is a demonstration of the main method, why we need to have it, and this was a demonstration of creating your own methods. This concept we're going to take further because Java is built on methods, be it the library methods coming from Java or be it our custom methods. Most of the time, it's going to be the second for us because we're going to develop the standalone applications that have not been developed before. So happy coding, have fun exploring, and I will see you in the next video.